Now that you've seen what it looks like from the client perspective, I'm going to show you what it looks like to set up a server and how easy it is to do this as well. You can see I'm here on a Mac. This Mac that I'm running on is just a Mac Mini, not a real robust machine, not a real powerful machine, but I do have it dedicated for Minecraft and a few other things that we have going on at our district. You don't need to have a very powerful computer in order to be able to run this. However, I would always suggest that instead of running both the server and the client on the same computer, that you have something that's dedicated to running as your Minecraft server. It just helps with the overall performance of the game, and you can pretty easily overwhelm it if you're running the server and the client at the same time. So I'm going to go down here and click on my MineCraftEDU launcher, and you'll see I get the same launcher window that I had before, but the big difference here is I have an additional button that says Start MineCraftEDU Server Launcher. So when I click on that button, you'll see that my mini launcher comes back just like it did before, and now I have the MineCraftEDU Server Launcher options right here. Here again, I have my same kind of menus that I have up here, same language options. I can change my server settings here on the settings. So I set the number of players that I can limit my server to. And this should match the number of licenses that you have purchased. So you should not allow any more than 25 users. If that's how many licenses you've purchased, then that's the limit that you should put on there. For most servers and most applications, you're probably not going to need much more than that all at once. It is possible to have many more players than that running, but I found that probably the optimal size group to have in there is about 25 to 30. And here again, you want to make sure that that doesn't exceed the number of licenses that you have purchased. You can also go in here and use this as a tool to set up a regular Minecraft server to allow remote users to use Minecraft in here as well. So if I wanted to set up a vanilla Minecraft server just for fun for my students to use, maybe a safe place for them to get together or things like that, then I can use this tool to set up a regular Minecraft server. You have advanced settings in here as well. It'll create backups automatically. You can set the distance for the view, and then the default server port is going to be 25565, but if you're running multiple servers on the same computer, you can change that port number, and then that will allow you to run more than one server on the same computer. You can also set up a static IP for your server, depending on what your settings are for on your network. This may be automatically granted as well, so you've got to keep that part of it in mind. And then we can also set the amount of RAM that's available for our server. Obviously, the more the better, but you've got to keep in mind that this is just for this application, and you do have to save some of that RAM for overhead for the operating system. So if we make any changes in here, we can click on Save, and then those are all applied, and we can just close that window. We can also have that open window just like we had before. This would be our server launcher folder and our worlds folder. So if we click on open that worlds folder, that opens up a Finder window, and you can see these are all of the worlds that are saved here on my computer that I have access to. I can also use this to open my server launcher folder, and then just like we had before, we have in the server folder, we have mods right here, and these are the mods. If we want to install something or add functionality to the game, this is where we would drop those mods. There's also a way to do that within the launcher as well. So if we want to get started, and actually when we are doing our collaborative play, we will start the server with the tutorial world. So that'll be one way that we get started here. So we can click on this to start the server with the tutorial world, or we can create a new world, generate a random world. If we have a seed, there's a number that we can type in there, and that will give us that. Or we can generate a completely flat world, and then students have a blank canvas, I guess you could say, to create whatever kind of a project you want them to do. We can also generate structures and create animals at this time. Another option that we have is we can go in and use a saved world, and these are all of the worlds that I have saved on my server. So I can find one of the saved worlds that I have already built with my students. So you can stop the server with one map and start it up again with another one. We also have a MInecraftEDU world library. We'll go into this a little bit later, a little bit more later on in the course. But these are just a few of the lessons that have been available through MInecraftEDU, and we also have a link to the website where we can access some of those. Or if I'm going in here and I'm starting the server after a previous activity or something like that, I can just go in here, click on Load Last Played World. I'm going to do that right now, so I have it ready for my activity coming up a little bit later on. And then we allow the computer to go through its loading process. We get a window that pops up, and you see we've got our status right here. It says that the server is still starting up, so it's red. As soon as that light turns green and it says server ready, that means that we are ready to go, and our students are able to join the server. Now, this here is the IP address, so your students are going to need to know that in order to be able to connect to your server. And then if this is available on the internet, they'll be able to use that as well. We have some options right over here with our server information, the world. So the server information just lets you know, here's the IP address once again. If you have any questions or anything, it gives you directions on how to get your students up and running, those kinds of things. So just kind of a little welcome page for you. This world information, we see what the seed is. We talked about that a little bit before. We can also see where the spawn block is set to have everybody go. I can open my current world folder, and then I can set a welcome message and also a message of the day. So when they log in, they'll see those two different messages. My world settings, these are just the same as what I had under my teacher menu before, so I can turn all of those options on and off and change the game mode right here through the server tool. I can also change my player settings here again. These were all available in the teacher menu as well, but I can do that at the server level and have that just be set. This is the way that I want them to be within the server. Same thing with the give options. I can set an item name, give an amount, set which user, and then give it to that user or give it to everybody. I can also use this to set my assignments if I wanted to add those in there. And then I have user control in here as well. If I turn on alias protection, then what happens is the students log in and then they set a password for themselves, and then they get into they set their password, and they're the only ones that can access it. So you can also use this as a way to protect your server. I can only allow these users to join if I have them in there. And then I can add students in here manually if I would like to. That's totally up to me as the server administrator. I can also access my server settings right here. This is where I set the teacher password. And when I initially set up the server, this is going to be an option for me as well. I need to be able to do that. I can have the player data stored with the alias, and if I uncheck that box, then every time they log in, they start all over again. And then I can also use this to validate their login with their Minecraft account. So there again, another way to to protect the access to your server by your students. Here under Advanced Settings, this is where you'll find how much memory is being used and how well your server is performing. But then all of those little messages that get popped up get saved right here. So I can see what's going on with the server, and then also all of the chat messages that get put in there as well. I can see all of those. This button right here will stop my server so I can save it. And then if I click on Save World, this is going to give me the option to save my world and the work that my students have done here. If I want to save my world, I first have to give it a name. And best practices from what I've seen is to, at the end of each session, go into your server and save your game with the name of the activity that you're doing, followed by or preceded by a date. So, for example, I have a save right here. This is the name of the map, and then this is the day of the save that I did with my students. So I want to make sure that I have all of that stuff ready to go, and then that way my students don't necessarily lose the work that they've done. It is possible to recover your worlds if they're by default. There's a temporary save that happens. So in case your server crashes, you do have a backup that you can restore from in there. And that is all there is to it, to the server tool. You have a lot of flexibility, a lot of options, and things that you can do with this. And then once you have everything all set up on your server, your students are ready to connect and you can get your clients ready to go.